Alright, my dear student, welcome back to your French language course online. This is Chidi. Je m'appelle Chidi. Bonjour. I just want to begin by encouraging you. You are doing a great job. You're learning a lot. Keep doing what you're doing. If you have any question, if you run into any kind of difficulty at any time, please feel free to let me know. We'll figure out how to get you the right help you need. So, we are about to begin to do the cool stuff. Now we are about to start working with verbs. And the good thing about verbs is that when you begin to understand how verbs work, the different tenses and how they kind of bring everything together, you may begin to see the verb as the center of the language. So, in a sentence, if you make a sentence and the verb is not there, most sentences will not make sense. So the verb comes in there to tie things together. So we're about to start that. I want you to take a moment to read this section, and definitely you'll be able to find the page where I am on. Look at the title. There are some markers that you will look at. If you pull up, look at places like this, you will locate the page and then go there. So read the sections written in English. I am going to go straight to verb conjugation. Now, when we are working on verb conjugation, let's reduce this a little bit so that we can have a space to write. There are certain words you are going to be hearing. You're going to be hearing things like infinitive, of which in French we say infinitif. This is my F. Infinitif. Infinitif. You're going to be hearing things like conjugation, conjugate, conjugated, not conjugated. Okay, those are expressions you'll be hearing. So infinitive, what does that mean? Let's start with that. When you take this verb to be, which is also être, you will be seeing it in forms like are, is, was, were. You'll be seeing this verb mostly in these forms because these forms accompany the subject pronouns I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. So you're seeing it mostly in action already, conjugated. So the infinitive is the raw form of the verb that has not yet been conjugated, the raw state of the verb, which in English, the way you get it is to add the preposition to the verb. So, to speak, for example, is the infinitive. To eat is the infinitive. To dance is the infinitive. To be is the infinitive. So now, what is conjugation? So we have identified an infinitive. What is conjugation? So you remember how we saw those subject pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, which is je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. So when you pick up a verb like to be and you begin to bring out the different forms of that verb based on the different subject pronouns or nouns that you are using the verb with, then you are doing conjugation. So conjugation is a process of breaking down a verb into its different forms to agree in number and gender with nouns or pronouns. So you can see now when we are saying things like I am, the am here is a conjugated form of the verb to be. You are, he is, she is, it is, one is, people are, we are, you are, they are. So this is actually what we mean by conjugation. So when we give you the verb, we say take the verb to be, conjugate the verb to be. What we are asking you to do is to bring out all the different forms and make them to go with all the different pronouns. So now another thing that happens that in conjugation is that because we talk about conjugation, then we talk about tenses. You are going to hear us say tense all the time. And in French, we say temps. Les temps du verbe. If you want, you can add les temps du verbe. Verb tense. What is tense? Tense is actually time. Time. Just time. Verb time. So what that means is that a verb can be used to express an action that is happening right now. Like if I can use the verb to teach, I can conjugate it right now to say what I am doing. I can say I am teaching. So I'm teaching is a conjugated form of the verb to teach, but it is conjugated into a tense, a verb time, and that tense is present. So you have different tenses. That's actually what I'm trying to say here. You have different tenses. You have present tense of the indicative mode. So first of all, different verb modes, different tenses inside the modes. We will come to that more. So for now, let's just focus on tenses. You have present tense, you have past tense, past, this is a T, past tense, you have future tense. So when we say tense, what we are talking about is the time of the action of the verb. Is the verb being used to express something that's happening right now in the present? That is present tense. Is the verb being used to express an action that is going to happen in the future? That is future tense. Is the verb being used to express an action that happened in the past? That is past tense. So if I say, for example, I was at your school. I was at your school. Now look, here we're using the verb to be, but we're using it in the past tense. So, but if I say I am at your school, here it is still the same verb to be, a different form of it that expresses the present tense, right? So this is what you be mindful of when you are doing verb conjugation. You're looking at the time, you're looking at the form of the verb. The time of the verb, the form of the verb. Was is the past tense of am. Alright, so this whole thing that we have described here happens in French as well. That is what we are going to focus on mostly when we are talking about verb conjugation. These are the key things you need to have in mind. Okay, we will be trying to find out, are we conjugating in the present tense? Are we conjugating in the past tense? Are we conjugating in the future? Now, inside the present tense, you have different forms of a particular verb. The different forms will be determined by the different persons. That's pronouns or nouns. Je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. You go to the past tense, you will also have different forms of the verb. And the different forms will be determined by the persons. So we are going to see that more in the next lesson.